Mega Man 8. The only classic Mega Man title for 32-bit hardware. This is a freshly recorded off an original PlayStation 1, so it's a little blurry, but yet, in a way, I think that adds some authenticity to the footage. From what I can find, Capcom had a hard time getting this game released for the PlayStation. Sony had severe anti-2D attitude at the time. They wanted 3D games, not 2D. But Capcom stuck to their guns. They threatened to not release Resident Evil 2 for the system, which caused Sony to back off. So, was it worth the wait? Well, let's find out. It was also released for the Sega Saturn, but I don't own that version because it is really, really expensive. Shame, really. It had some extra features that I would have loved to talk about. To start off, we have FMVs to show how we've gone up a system. I rather like the track that plays during this, but playing this on the PS1, I noticed some weird clipping issues, and they only happened during this opening cutscene. The rest of the game ran perfectly fine. The graphics are nice and colorful, if a little bland at times. However, there is one major problem with this game, and it's that the voice acting is complete and utter shit.
Mega Man! Roll! Mega Man, hurry! You must come with me!
You can't leave yet!
You must recover all the energy immediately, Mega Man.
But where is Dr. Wily?
That's a good question.
Characters don't know how to inflect or speak coherent sentences. Dr.Light has some weird Elmer Fudd voice. Mega Man has a very girly voice, which kinda fits him. Sorta. Bass doesn't know how to talk at all.
Don't run away, coward. You'll pay for this insult. I'll be back.
The only characters whose voices I think actually fit them are Roll and Dr. Wily.
We'll find dr.wily.
Yeah, or that. You could go with that. Nah, that'd be too much of a pain to constantly say. So anyway, to start with the story, an animated FMV shows two forces of energy clashing in outer space. They end up crashing on Earth. Meanwhile, Mega Man is having another fight with Bass.
Hey, Bass! Why must I fight you? We are not enemies!
Clearly you are, though. It is painful to use voice cuts from this game because of how painful the acting is, but my style is my style. So Roll comes and tells Mega Man to come with her. Dr. Light tells Mega Man of a meteor crashing on Earth and Mega Man has to go and investigate. At the crater, Mega Man finds Dr. Wily escaping with some sort of energy and a mysterious robot that's unconscious. Mega Man takes the robot back to Dr. Light's for repairs and goes after Dr. Wily's new robot masters. Yeah, again. There is more of a narrative, but it's not in the way for the most part. It's only when an FMV plays that you know you're about to get more of the story. The bosses don't really say much of anything to Mega Man, which was a bit of a down point considering X4 had that feature. But anyway, that's all I'll say about the story for now. After the opening stage, which introduces you to a new weapon, the Mega Ball, which, I gotta be honest, I didn't use much outside the opening boss, which ties into a problem with the weapons that I'll get into later. The opening stage introduces one new mechanic. Mega Man can now swim, which is okay. I mean, I preferred being able to jump as high as possible when in the water, but I understand that we're in a new generation of consoles, so we want to show off new abilities. I get it. Although then again, Mario could swim all the way back in the 8-bit days. I'm getting off topic. Let's talk about Mega Man himself. Mega Man plays fine enough. I noticed that he now has two firing buttons, one for his regular Mega Buster and one for his special weapons, and I like that as a mechanic. He can still do the charge shot and the slide, so he's just as versatile as ever. However, the same cannot be said for his allies. Rush. What did they do to you? He doesn't have the Rush Coil anymore, which is a real head scratcher. He has 4 abilities: a cycle, a question that leads to something, or nothing. Thanks for nothing. You can also only use these abilities once per life. They don't have an energy meter like before. Rush Jet isn't a power-up anymore. It's now a part of the stage where you can get some of your allies to appear as power-ups, which is okay in theory, but it ties into a larger problem with Mega Man's overall moveset. The weapons Mega Man gets in this game, yeah, not a fan. I didn't use them that much outside of boss battles. The Flame Sword has pathetically short range. The Thunder Claw is sometimes used as a grappling hook, and the Tornado Hold can be used to give Mega Man a higher jump. And the problem overall with these power-ups is that they feel situational. They're not very fun to use and just feel very, very bland as a result. There's also the problem with the shop. Yeah, the shop. What did they do? It was perfect in Mega Man 7. But now, in Mega Man 8, you don't get bolts from defeated enemies. You find bolts and stages at specific locations, and you can trade them in for parts that can add to Mega Man's arsenal. This is a step back in every way. I really didn't go out of my way to find these things. I got them if they were in the way, and easy enough. But if they were hidden, I just didn't bother. Well, hopefully things will look up, because now I have to talk about the stages. Here we go. First up, I did Tengu Man Stage.
I'm Tango Man.
Even the boss music is muted. It's a pretty standard stage, just jump on the platforms while avoiding the wind, and then you get a rush jet sequence, which I already talked about. What I will say to this game's credit is that you have continue points, so that if you get to the second half of the stage and run out of lives, you start from that point, essentially making lives meaningless for the most part. Fighting Tengu Man is relatively simple. I do get a kick out of him using the tornado hold to levitate Mega Man and then drop kick him into the ground. Now that bosses actually talk, it's easy to telegraph what attacks they're going to use. Well, next we'll do Plow Man Stage. There's not much to say about this stage except for the parts where you have someone knocking a bell with a hammer and you have to be standing on a platform with a circle, otherwise you will get hurt. There is a mini-boss. A lot of stages have mini-bosses actually. It's a pretty standard battle. The second half is notable for parts where you have to go into question marks to teleport up, and it's random as to which one it is. Takes real guessing here. Cloud Man actually does require a bit more strategic thought since you have to trick him into swinging the tornado hold. Next up, we'll do Grenade Man. The first half is pretty standard. There isn't much to really talk about. Then you get to the mini-boss, which is pretty run-of-the-mill. He has a junk shield, which makes me really miss the junk shield from Mega Man 7. You have to shoot while a shield isn't protecting him at all. The second half contains exploding platforms, so you have to be quick and precise if you want to survive. Grenade Man takes advantage of his explosive nature, but he's weak to the Thunderclaw. Not much to add, let's move on to the next. That would be Frost Man Stage. Well, there ain't much to say about this stage until you get to this part.
Slide, slide, jump, 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 jump.
Yeah, this part. When I first played this game as part of the Mega Man Anniversary Collection for GameCube, I was stuck at this part for a while. But yet here, I was able to beat it on my first try. I guess the Anniversary Collection did have lag input issues. Frostman is pretty simple. He suffers from Spark Mandrill syndrome with the flash bombs. So after that, you get a cutscene back at Dr. Light's lab. The robot activates and mentions that he still lives. This is never really resolved in the game. Maybe they were saving it for a sequel. But anyway, as Elmer Fudd explains to Mega Man, he must go after the robot, so that leads to a mid-stage. A very short mid-stage that ends with a boss fight against this mysterious robot who you can't actually beat. Fortunately, the fight is broken up by Proto Man. Mega Man gives chase and is caught by Dr. Wily. After a 20-second scene of Mega Man nearly breaking my TV with his screaming, Mega Man is rescued by this mysterious robot who goes by the name of Duo. Duo tells Mega Man that he's there to destroy the evil energy that Wily is harnessing, and that Mega Man must destroy 4 more barriers to get inside the castle. So that opens up 4 more Robot Masters to go after. So first up is Aquaman. Can DC sue them? As you can expect, it's a mostly underwater segment, which is just appropriate until you get to this mini-boss that requires constant falling, while you're trying to shoot it from coming out of the waterfall. Beating this boss gives you the Rush Health, which essentially replaces energy tanks for this game. For the worst, in my opinion. The second half, there isn't much to say, but then you fight Aquaman.
I'm Aquaman, but you can call me handsome guy.
Oh, you're flamboyant, aren't you? This probably would not fly today. Once you figure out his patterns, it's pretty easy. Although I noticed that you can't use any of your previously gained powers on him. The pattern resets, which is different than before. So next up is Swordman Stage. Sure, I would say that looks more like a chainsaw than a sword, but okay. The stage actually requires you to use special weapons to progress. This is the only time this happens, so it ties in more towards the special weapons being situational powers rather than an extension of Mega Man's abilities. After that, a pretty standard mini-boss that tries to destroy the platforms you're on. The second half requires more puzzle solving, as you have to time your jumps on this platform so that you're on the lava when it rises. Swordman is about hitting him with a water balloon. What a lame weapon this is. Moving on, let's do Searchman. There isn't much to say of his stage, it's just about using the Thunderclaw as a grappling hook to make Mega Man swing like Batman or Spider-Man, which works perfectly fine. I do like the Thunderclaw as it feels like an extension of Mega Man's abilities. The rest of the stage is fairly straightforward. Fighting Swordman is pretty easy. He likes to play hide and seek and you have to flush him out. Finally, that leaves us with Astro Man, and this stage introduces mazes. That's not something I'd like to be doing in a 2D platformer. It took a while to get out of this place as I was constantly pressing switches to lower platforms. Man, I really wish Mega Man could wall jump like X sometimes. Just when you think you're done that madness, you gotta do it again! And climb this falling pillar before it gets engulfed! Fortunately, Astro Man is an easy boss. Not much to say other than having to listen to... Jeez, it's almost as bad as Mega Man X7! So that leaves us with one more thing to do. Go to Wily's Fortress. It starts you off with more snowboarding! That's wonderful! This took nearly an hour to get right. Constantly practicing, making sure you time your jumps just right. I found out the trick is to make sure you are standing on the edge of the platform, otherwise you won't make the jump. You don't get a checkpoint, so if you die here, you gotta do the whole stage all over again. The boss requires using the Mega Ball, which is just great considering I've barely used the thing, so I haven't had time to practice using it. But this is where I had to stop for the night, so I'll save. Go to bed and... What?! I gotta do the first stage again?! What's the point of having a save feature that doesn't save your progress? The rest of Wily's Castle isn't much to write about. The second stage is another rush jet sequence and you gotta fight the boss on it, but it's pretty easy. The third stage is another match with Bass and he is ridiculously easy. You can't combine with Rush, but you don't even need to. Then you have to fight the Green Devil and he's also ridiculously easy. Make sure you have the laser shot for this battle. Man, I can't believe I'm saying a devil battle is easy. So with that done, it's time for the final stage. It goes about the same as before. Defeat the 8 Robot Masters again. Listen to all their stuff again. Have I mentioned of how weird the things they say before they die are?
See you in my dreams.
Don't you mean see you in your dreams? Whatever. Time to fight Wily again. And again, he's really easy, as it's just about inflicting damage on him before he can fire his unavoidable laser. His second form is kinda like his second form in Mega Man 7, but much easier to dodge. It's only hard because you don't have energy tanks. So whatever, you beat him, Wily pleads for mercy again, but something attacks Mega Man before he can act. Duo finds Mega Man unconscious, but realizes that because Mega Man is a true warrior of justice, he won't be harmed by the evil energy. Duo leaves, Mega Man regains consciousness, happy moments are had. Proto Man tells Mega Man that Duo said thank you. So, a nice little ending. Not much to it, but it gets the point across. As for the game, I'm sorry, but Mega Man 8 might be my least favorite classic game so far. It has the production values down, but it's a little on the bland side. Now, that's not to say it's bad, oh no, it's definitely still an okay game. But its tepid reception convinced Capcom that they should let classic Mega Man lay low for a while. It wouldn't be until nearly a decade later that the series would return, and when it did, it would return to its 8-bit roots. But that is for another day. Mega Man 8 is just okay. Not terrible, not outstanding, just okay.